Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I'm going to chat with you guys a little bit about why I am personally a fan of mixing heavy and lighter work in the same sessions, not just for myself but for my clients. Why I prefer this to any sort of traditional periodization. And a lot of it comes down to the fact that I think that we do need multiple rep ranges if our goal is to develop all the different attributes that we want. Strength, neural drive, muscle mass, even to get the best hypertrophic response. Again, that means muscle growth. I do think that we need a variety of rep ranges, and I think that in that case, I'm going to agree with someone like Dr. Mike. And I know I don't always agree with Dr. Mike on everything, but I think a point that he has made is that he said he thinks that future research he predicts is going to show that individual rep ranges actually sometimes have some potential unique training stimulus. In other words, there might be certain aspects of training stimulus and muscle growth that are stimulated through lower reps, moderate reps, higher reps, that they can each bring their own unique thing to the table, and that if our goal is to gain as much muscle as possible, we probably would be better off doing that. And I'll also point out that some exercises themselves are more suited to higher reps than lower reps, and so on and so forth, which also kind of brings over the point of, well, are we going to need more than one rep range if we're going to use multiple of these different exercises? And I think there's a case to be made for that. However, here's what I generally note when it comes to this, and one of my problems with splitting things into phases is that we detrain. We detrain attributes in phases when we cut things out. So we really should be doing the stuff that we want to train relatively often. Also, the volume tends to be very different in terms of benefits. In other words, really heavy work, we don't get a lot of the benefits of the heavy work from doing large volumes of it. What do I mean? The neural drive aspects, all these things, a lot of the benefits that we get from really heavy low rep work, we only get in small doses of it. And beyond that, it starts to just become hypertrophy work. Plus, we can't sustain the high rate of force production and the high neural drive and all those things that we get from really heavy work for long periods of time through a workout. So building a whole workout around it is very, very limited. By that same token, our more volume-oriented work is something we should be doing all the time. Why? Because it is the most efficient way to build muscle. And if we are trying to be as strong as possible, we need to be maximizing muscle growth, because all the data shows that over and over and over. Hypertrophy raises your strength ceiling. Your total strength potential is dependent upon your muscle thickness. Again, relative to your own nervous system and leverages. Meaning, it's not to say that two guys who have the same amount of muscle are going to have the same strength. It's that their leverages in certain aspects of their nervous system are unique to them. And those are genetic oftentimes. You may not be able to change them significantly. So as an individual person gets bigger, their strength potential will scale with their size gains. Does that make sense? It doesn't mean that yours is going to go up to the exact same level of another person who's the same size, because theirs is going to scale to their own predisposition. But if they get bigger, they will get stronger. If you get bigger, you will get stronger. So that being said, hypertrophy is a little more volume dependent than the neural drive, so we really should be doing large amounts of it. So do you see where I'm going with this? If we need and benefit optimally from less strength work and it starts turning into the hypertrophy, but just beats us up more. But the most efficient way to gain muscle is to do relatively high volumes of work. It makes sense that our workouts would be best if we do just enough heavy work to get good neural drive, to get all the benefits of the heavy training, right? It's like you see me right here in this video, just some of the clips. You see me doing some lower rep benching, some higher rep benching. Right here, you see me doing some 10 rep squats right after doing a heavy triple, right? All right, it makes sense to train that way. Because doing 10 really heavy sets doesn't increase your nervous system and neural drive and all that stuff really significantly more than doing 1 or 2 sets. It really doesn't. But doing multiple sets of the higher rep stuff really has a benefit to muscle mass. So I tend to train that way. Same thing here. You see me doing, fairly low reps on these deficit deadlifts, right? Like a 5 rep set. Then afterwards, I take the bar down to 405 and do some Romanian deadlifts for higher reps. Okay, the same idea. Same idea. Do some heavy work and then do your volume work for hypertrophy in the same workouts. The higher rep and higher volume work is going to take up a larger section of it. Right? And some of my exercises I'll go up as high as 15 or maybe even 20 reps on occasion, some of the smaller movements. Bigger movements going to be, probably 8 to 12. And just 1 or 2 exercises per workout I'm going to do in the 5 rep or lower range. Okay? Works very well. Plus, we've got other data showing better muscle fiber recruitment on subsequent sets if we do a heavy set first, even a heavy single, right? There have been studies that looked at that and found that doing a heavy single with anything 90% or more of your max, just 1 rep with it, primes your nervous system a little bit better for the higher rep work. And what they found is that the 10 rep sets following it, when that's been looked at, they got better performance, they got better recruitment of the muscle fibers by almost preloading it with the heavy single. So again, if we come over and say what's really efficient, what's a good way to get the most out of the volume you're going to do is to do a really heavy lift first. Doesn't mean have to be an all-out max. It just needs to be pretty heavy. And so again, that's exactly how I program. And it does give the best of both worlds. And it allows us to train for all these things year round. We can gain really good strength by doing 1 heavy set on 1 or 2 exercises every workout. And then spend all the other time riding on the back end of that after we've now primed the nervous system by doing all this hypertrophy work. And I think this is a viable way to train almost irrespective of what your goals are or what discipline you were doing this stuff for. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.